Welcome guys to another little series. Now, if you guys don't know that I do, I actually am making a program that will be easier for people to get code and stuff like that. But that will probably be my Patreon campaign stuff, where if you donate money to or whatnot, you actually get access to that program. And for all the rest of you guys that don't donate to that, there's plenty of other, you know, contributing ways to contribute to the channel and probably actually get it for free. But yeah, so let's get something going here. Got my drink here, got everything else. And let's get the old screen all fired up. And we'll do good old, no, indy we changed up a little bit here to a more of a cleaner class, for different types of states that we could go into, which, I mean, they're just basically interfaces and different variety of things that you could possibly need. Very little clean manager class that we will be building upon. At least I will. I don't know if you guys are following or not, but I will definitely be working with it a lot more. So if you guys don't understand the functions a little bit, it's probably because you need to see that video that I made. And now we are going to get into what we're going to do today. Now, for most of the time when we're doing bullets and stuff like that, we've got this more of we have a single class that does all our weapon logic and everything else, which isn't bad. It's not a bad thing to do and stuff, but it's becoming very tedious to go in here and do these scripts for it because of, callbacks, and then there's other logic in the script that doesn't do anything until we actually need it, because we got different variety of types. And the thing about it, when it comes to the types, we've got a single shot, full auto, and we could have different variety. So I'm basically making this big script for multiple attributes, okay? Which I'm kind of leaning against, because we're instantiating and destroying game objects of the weapon itself. But we're not really destroying them. We're pooling them and reusing them if we ever use them again. But it's not as convenient as I would like. Because, as you guys know, I've changed this script probably, 20 times by now? Which just shows you can do it many different ways. You don't have to listen to the one way that I've done it. You can do it many other great ways. So, with that being said, we could probably give you guys a way of doing something. So, this weapon script, we are actually probably going to basically just disassembling a lot of it and going with a more substate and interstate type. Like this moving script, yeah, it's okay and stuff, but we need something a little bit more robust in the meantime as well. Because yes, it does serve a purpose, but we've got these enums and other stuff, and it just does not go well for me. I just do not like it, because we can do something that's a little bit cleaner. Even though these are inscriptable objects and they're very easy to manipulate around, we can actually do what we've done in this manager. Now the whole point of this managing script like this is to get most of the logic out of a main class and do a single script do exactly one thing. For instance, player running. This script, I don't want to be a scriptable object. I'm thinking about making a main player script that I can use to cast in a different, a variety of types. Imagine yourself with different types of players, okay? Like this one right here could be, let's make a cube here as an example. Take this cube. This guy could be a light gunner. Light gunner. And, well, the light gunner, what would be his attributes? A light gunner, I would think he would be like very quick, like kind of a speedy guy. So he wouldn't really go slow. So I could see him having a running state and a walking state. But what else could he not have? Maybe in our classes and stuff, we will make it where he can't jump. He can go really, really fast, but he cannot jump. Or maybe he can't climb up ladders. He has to go the long way around. It's something that really stinks about his class, you know? But we could also have another class here. Now let's call this one a heavy. If I could spell heavy gunner. Okay? A heavy gunner. Well, what would his attributes be? Well, let's say this much. I think he shouldn't be allowed to run at all, or climb up a ladder. Yeah, that sounds reasonable, right? I mean, he's got a very probably heavy gun. So why should I let him climb ladders? You know? He's just slow. But being a heavy gunner, he's got the most powerful weapons possible. You know, just a very powerful weapon. You know, like like rockets, a Gatling gun. But he also has a balance issue where if he has to reload, it takes him a really long time. But his clips for his guns are very long. You know, you may never run out. That might be a thing. And being the heavy gunner, he might not be able to swim. Water might be in your game. But you got this light gunner, well, he can swim. And then, well, let's get us another cube and go. A medic soldier. I didn't put the IC. Well, guess what? The medic soldier can do everything except use heavy weapons or grenades. That might be in your game. And, well, the thing about that is, in our already pre-existing script for our guys, we can't limit that type of functionality in him. We can only do, you know, our basically logic for everyone. There's no limits. They can have anything that they want, which I think kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of sucks. So what can we really do about that? Well, if you take the idea of our scriptable objects here, okay, scriptable objects do one specific thing. Maybe the player movement, maybe it's the type inventory. You know, it only does one specific thing, okay? Which I think is great, you know? I mean, in all honesty, that should be good, right? Well, you know, and that brings the idea. Well, if scriptable objects could have a list of everything or an array or some type of collection or even just make it part of the class in itself that goes is valid. You could have a scriptable object that you could write that has a is valid weapon on it. And that would be usable across every single character you have because it's so abstract. It's just a variable that's going to have a function that you call into. You're probably going to have a bool get value, you know, a true or false statement, where you go is valid, and it's a bool, not a void, because you need a return type. And then you're probably going to put a switch inside of it that goes, is this valid? So you have all your cases for weapons, and you just pass in a value of, hey, this is valid. Let them have this gun. And that will be the limit for your medic. Like in this AR weapon here, we have our script, you know, which let's pull up our script class and let's get talking about this. Okay, because you know that's what you guys are here. This is a scriptable object right here. This could hold functions. It would be perfectly fine. And what I was talking about was a public bool is able or is valid. Let's just put is able. I don't feel like going through a bunch of crap when it comes to spelling. Okay. And this must have a return type. So you'll probably create a bool. Okay. Is okay equal to false right off the bat. So that way we don't have to worry about none of junk or anything. And then you'll do a return is okay. So you're like, this will always be false. And that is the point. That is the point. So in this right here, we will go in here and we're going to push a string in here. Weapon name. Okay. So in our weapon name, let's embiggen this a little bit. We'll be like, oh, okay. So what do we do here? Well, this is only one weapon type. Imagine this being a scriptable object that we just call medic player or something. It's a player type for now. So we could do a switch. Okay, and this tells you what's it going to switch on. Well, we don't want this because this would only give us two cases. It would suck, right? So we're going to put this in here. Okay. and it will set up this. Well, what's this going to give us? Well, this will base it on a string value, and it will probably be called every time we try to pick up a weapon or something, right? So that way we can tell the UI system, hey, no, don't do this. You can't equip this game, this type of weapon. You must play something else, right? So the default case is okay, is false. Okay? And this will be a little weird for you and everything else, is what's really dumb is if you do it this way, this is a code that never gets to here. Like, I can call this an infinite loop and it will never get here. It's really dumb. Right now it would work fine. But as soon as you go this and then go return, is okay, you will never make it to this. It's unreachable code. That's why it's got this little squiggly mark on it. Unreachable code. So you can delete this, and it's fine with that. It doesn't even care that there's no break there. And then you got, oh, well, guess what? This is unreachable code as well. It doesn't throw a compiler error, but it's not even, I don't believe this throws a compiler error. If you were to use this, I'm pretty sure it doesn't. It just gives you a warning message that's unreachable. Yeah, a warning message that's unreachable, line 6013. Which you can delete this or just leave it in. Doesn't matter. Because ow, it'll never reach here. As soon as this does this, it just breaks out of this function and goes nowhere else. So you're like, okay, that's cool. The default case, I always put false or something of this sort. So if the actual weapon or something in the switch right here does not, let's say this is a good example, is case, and then you'll put a string here and you'll do your little marking here. Okay, case AR15. Okay, and then you go is okay equals true. Hey, it's a valid one, right? And then you do your return is okay. You return it. There's your case and everything else. Well, the good thing about switches like this is they are pretty quick, but they are, if you get switches that are very long, then it will slow down your program. But you're not doing this every single frame. Okay, you're doing this maybe what, once every maybe minute or two. I mean, it really is not that big of a deal. But the really powerful thing about switches like this is, let's say you want to call this is valid here. Well, the good thing about this is if you push any other string from here, right now if we were to call this it will return true every single time we use this string in here. The great thing about it is if any other string in our function is called that is not AR-15 right now, it will return the default value of false. Okay? So we don't have to do all those if, else, if, this, blah, 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 blah. We don't have to care about the other cases. Right now, this guy will only return true and pick this weapon up if it's an AR-15. Which could be, exactly what we want for our running guy. He may only be able to carry that one specific weapon. It's viable, right? At least I hope so, And because this is a scriptable object, this function, we can throw the scriptable object and the character that we want, okay? So we don't have to go through and let's say we have 10 different characters in our game, okay? Because we put the function in the scriptable object, all we have to do is go from the class that we have, like our player class, and it collides or whatever. We push the string to it, push the string to the weapon and go, hey, is this valid? Because we're passing into the scriptable object anything that references this scriptable object and calls this function inside of it, we'll be able to use it across multiple characters. Instead of having a script and writing it for every single 10 players, we can use this generic form right here. Okay? Instead of, and then let's say, the great thing about it is, okay, let's say we got our medic class, okay? And we hate it because he can only carry these one certain weapons, and we're like, well, let's just give more abilities. What do we have to go in and edit code? No, we don't have to. We can change his scriptable object and change the ability of him picking up different weapons, because the validation code is in the scriptable object. So we just got to change the scriptable object to our heavy code for our heavy guy, or maybe our super sniper guy. Maybe we have a sniper class that can only pick up sniper rifles. It's up to you. It's your game. And that's the thing about my code. I like to write so that you can write your own logic into it. Because what I'm writing right here may not work for 3 or 4 people. May work for 100 people, may work for just me. And I'm totally okay with that. Because once you learn how to write it and understand it, you can go and apply it. So, but that's what I mean by an ends valid. And this right here, this could be something else. This can be a bool statement. Okay, let's do. In our tower defense game, we have a validation code. Well, the thing about the validation code that I don't really like is it's in this big, we put is clear, okay? Well, we're going to put a string. Do we want to? Yeah, let's not have anything, okay? And we'll have it into a bool. And is okay. We may want a bool in here. Bool for is done. Okay? Because here's the thing. Okay, and now we have equals true, pass. Okay, so we got a thing that will just basically loop and go. Do we want to put is done? Yeah, because, well, the reason why I do is done versus this one is, let's say we have array and it doesn't hit anything, okay? And, well, because it hasn't hit anything, we wanted to do this validation code. So is done, the case is true. So we could say let's do some thing. Is done can be used for telling us to stop being dumb with raycast each frame because it hurts our FPS. Okay, so like I said, if this is done and it does true, maybe we want it to do nothing. We just return. But if it's default, we return false, and we are going ray equals new ray, and then we do our ray logic. This is the ray logic for saying it's clear or not. Okay. So we could tell it the when we go to click on something, possibly, we can have it shoot its ray out. If it doesn't hit anything besides the ground, then the spot's valid and we don't care. So we'll return, hey, go ahead, do that, it's okay. And because it's a small switch and stuff, and it's very easy to do, when it returns that it's the ground, then we return it's okay. And this could be our validation thing for, hey, how can I put that? When we click down, you know how most games, they're like, it turns red if you go to click there, and it won't let you instantiate or put something down. That could be our logic, our little checker right here. This right here. So that can be really good for us. Now, this, I believe, because I was working with this earlier, we can go region. Oh, I don't know how to spell region right now. It's the end of the day, and I'm about to take a brain fart. That's so not cool. But here's what I mean by this right here. Instead of being a mono and having all these other things in this, I think it would be more of a benefit if we go back to having more than one game object for our weapons, but in each game object we can have a weapon script on there, and we just subscribe and unsubscribe to it. It'd be very, very easy. No, go back to how we used to do weapons, because this is way too big for a weapon script for me. I mean, there's too many things going on, and if it's a machine gun, guess what? We're checking to make sure that we do the right reload animation or the right reloading and stuff, which I think kind of sucks. And then when we instantiate the weapon, we're doing all this logic right here. All this logic right here. We're instantiating, doing the start behavior, change, timers. We're sending the animation stuff to there. And it just seems more redundant. I mean, it's I shouldn't say really redundant, but there's too much going on for that. Like this reload, even though it's a small check and stuff, we can fix this up to be better. We can definitely fix this up. For example, this reload, we can have this in another case thing as is public is why did it do that? Public bool is reloading. Is reloading. Okay? And this can be your anim base, anim. And anim dot we don't have that publicly. That kind of sucks. But we'll put a public bool on there that goes is reloading or is playing. Okay? Just imagine it being there like that. And we'll put a bool loading, and this equals false right off the bat. Is loading, an instant play is playing. We should actually, that would be a good example of cutting corners right there. Is playing. Instead of doing this, we'll do that, and then we just return is loading. Okay, because our animation class, we could put a bool loading thing on it, or just have it check a bool in the script itself. Okay, very easy to do. And because this function is so abstract, it's only checking the animation, we could actually make this useful for all our weapons. I mean, We don't even have to care. Okay? And look, guess what? We don't have to do any of this crap here. We don't have to check a coroutine. We don't have to check none of this. Because we can make this class in our animation class or whatnot do that stuff for us. Instead of having a script that checks this and does this. See this reload logic right here? We could take this reloading logic completely out of this script. I mean, you might think, yeah, this isn't a very big function or not or whatnot, but you know, here's the first one, here's the next one, and then guess what? We have these checks here. We have checks here. It's kind of suck. So yeah, and then the best thing about this is this ammo thing where we're subtracting ammo and adding ammo. We can make this a lot easier to work with as well. We can make this subtraction of ammo actually happen in our scriptable object. Like all this logic right here, while blah blah blah, we can have it go into a scriptable object. Or instead of a scriptable object, let's say you don't like the scriptable object thing. That's okay. We can port it into an interface and have a mono behavior in an interface, so we're calling the same functions without breaking a sweat anyway. And you can attach them or, you know, do something of the other sort. You know, it's a lot more versatile than what we've had in the past. So I hope this wasn't an overload of information. I'm actually going to cut the video here, so that way a lot of the explaining and what you can do with something. Basically, I want you to just go and think about things. Think about it and be like, how can I apply this to my own project? How could I use these theories and apply them? Because there's many ways to do something. My approach might suck for you, or my approach may be even better. Who knows? So take care, guys, and you know, get coding, break some stuff. Worst case scenario, your project doesn't work, or maybe you learned something. Just keep on trying. Don't give up, because you can learn and do stuff. This is not hard stuff. If this was C++, it would be a little bit more difficult, but not impossible. And I'll tell you why. C++, a lot of times you have to work with libraries and imports, but there's not as many errors. There's runtime errors more. Unity works a lot with managed code in the C# language. A lot of it's all managed code. So you get compiler errors. You get a lot more information. So if you're wanting to learn something, C# is really nice for you. It'll work out just fine. So don't get too frustrated. Trust me. I broke a keyboard not 2 weeks ago because it just wouldn't work, and my recording software just wanted to be dumb, so I just broke the keyboard and just the heck with it. I'm done. So if you've done it, I feel sorry for you. You know, I know your hand probably hurt, but you know, get back and try it again. So peace.